In this video, we're going to discuss automating both the London breakout strategy and the opening range breakout strategy. And at the end of the video, we're going to give you a free Forex or gold expert advisor or trading bot that can trade both of these systems automatically with minimal user input. So, first to discuss the London breakout strategy. What is the London breakout? Quite simply, it's trading the breakout of the Asian range. And this strategy is all over the internet. It's very widely used, and it's very simplistic in that you simply find the highs and lows of the range created by the Asian session, and then when price breaks above the key levels created, the premise is that it generally keeps going. And this would be because the Asian range creates almost like psychological levels amongst traders and in the market in general. So if price breaks that, the hypothesis is that usually you'll see a larger continuation from there. And another very common strategy, more so in equity markets, is the opening range breakout. And this strategy has an extremely strong premise behind it. Pretty much US equity markets open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when this happens, there's generally a large impulse at open. Makes sense. There's a bunch of orders which are resting. So market upon open orders, for instance. Therefore, when the market opens, it's perfectly logical that you'll see a bit of a push. And as gold, which is the focus of this video, generally correlates with US equity markets. As you can see, it's XAU USD. The USD part will have a heavy correlation with equity markets in general. So when the US equity markets have a bit of an impulse, gold quite often also has an impulse. And the premise here is that the pre-market range can set certain key levels, and a break of these levels or of this range can also be used to build a trading strategy. So maybe the first thing to do that I'll show you is this paper here by Concretum Research done with P Capital Trading. So you guys might know Andrew Aziz. He's well known in the social media trading space. So if you're interested in the opening range breakout specifically, highly recommend just Googling this paper and looking a bit more into it, because it explains the logic and the premise a bit behind this, as well as they tested a few different ranges to see which one performs best. Moving on here, I just wanted to show visually on TradingView what these breakouts would be. So this would be an example of the London breakout. Here, and in the example that I'm going to show, we chose 1 a.m. platform time to 9 a.m. platform time. So this is based on the standard MetaTrader platform time, which is 7 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, so effectively how this strategy would work is you put pending orders at the high and at the low of the range. That's at least how the strategy, which I personally trade, is based on. And then once price breaks out of these levels, the pending order would open, and depending on your take profit or trailing stop loss levels, you would see a quick sniping of a few pips upon break of these levels. Very similar premise here for the New York session. This would be a much smaller range created by pre-market opening hours, and upon break of these levels, a pending order would trigger. So, moving on to the interesting part, which you likely all clicked this video for, it's getting a free expert advisor. So here at Prosperity Algo Solutions, we like to think we create some of the best bots on the market for scalping the gold markets. Most of our bots are based on very strong price action premises combined with machine learning. Here, the Golden Time Bomb is the bot which I want to share with you guys today. It's based on simply automating both the London breakout as well as the opening range breakout. And you're actually able to toggle between trading one or both. And really, it's to give you guys a taste of what we have to offer here and provide you with a tool to automate a very, very popular strategy, which you may already be trading. So moving on, this is the golden time bot. It's an time bomb, pardon me. It's an expert advisor which we will offer to you for free to automate the London breakout as well as the opening range breakout. Really, the goal behind this expert advisor was not to give you a pre-packaged solution. We will share default settings which work really well for us. However, it's meant to be used by you to code and to automate your own systems. And with that goal in mind, we wanted to give as much flexibility as possible. So here essentially, and how this strategy works, which we'll see in a few seconds in the visual backtesting, is you define the range with these parameters here. The expert advisor will then place pending orders at the high and the low of the range. Once those pending orders are hit, whichever one is hit first, the second one will be canceled automatically. And the take profit system here is based on a trailing stop loss. So there's no take profit, there's a trailing stop loss. I'll go into this in a lot more detail once we have the visual backtester open, but that's the general premise behind it. And what's really great is that you as the trader can use this based on your own specifications. So you're able to define here what you want the Asian range to comprise of. So here I have it starting at 1 a.m. platform time going until 10 a.m. platform time. And then the breakout or the pending orders would be placed at the close, the 9:55 bar, so 10 a.m. platform time. And here I also specify how long I want the pending orders to be open for, in this case 6 hours. And the same premise for the same settings are available for the New York range. Here, based on my preferences, I have used a very short range from this is 16:15 platform time to 16:25 platform time with a very short 3-hour expiration time on the orders. But really, this is based on your personal preferences. So you have complete flexibility to change this based on whatever variation of the London breakout or the New York opening range breakout that you prefer. Here, you're also able to toggle between fixed volume trades or a percentage of balance. When you actually download this bot, you'll also have access to a user guide, which goes significantly in more detail to enable you to understand how this works. Also here it's quite interesting because you're able to toggle the risk reward of the system. Here at Prosperity Algo, we like scalping systems. Therefore, the stop loss tends to be a lot larger than the take profit. This would mean that just from properties of randomness, typically the win rate will be very high, or the win rate will be very high, but when you lose more than you win. So here essentially you need to win around 4 or 3 and a bit with a trailing stop loss to compensate for one loser. Perhaps your personal trading style is you want to have a super high risk reward. Therefore, you could very well just go here, toggle, and switch this to a much higher value. And all of a sudden you have positive risk reward. So you have complete flexibility as to what you want to trade, and really kind of going back to the central premise, this isn't us giving you a fully done trading strategy, or actually it is, but you have a lot of flexibility in regards to however you want to trade. So let me just show you guys a quick back test here based on these settings. For a disclaimer, this is not over-optimized settings. These strategies were all developed in Python using walk-forward methodologies and being stress tested. I'm not showing this here because it would make a very long video, but these strategies have been developed properly, and they've also been forward tested and even traded live using our own capital. So keep that in mind when you're putting in your own parameters. Just be really careful to not over-optimize. It's very easy with the MetaTrader backtest to tweak super specifically. So just as a kind of a personal tip, always make sure you have a strong logical premise behind every strategy. So don't just toggle every little minute to see how it changes your profitability. Like, try and have a logical reason why you're picking 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., why you're picking a certain stop loss or take profit. Don't just over optimize. So be really careful about that, and happy to provide another video if you guys think that would be helpful. And here, finally, you can also toggle between the London breakout and the New York breakout. So here it's trading both, but let's say you only want to trade London, not New York, you're able to turn it on and off. And that's quite an interesting feature. So now let's just run a back test here. We're going to use Golden Time Bomb. Please run this on the M5. You can run it on any system, but the visual aspect won't work as well. Let's pick from 2022 to a couple days ago. And let's use every tick based on real ticks. Always use this if possible, just because it gives you a far more accurate backtest. And let's say 10 grand to start, and I'm going to use a percentage of backtest. And yeah, let's let her rip and see what happens. Okay, so we're back now that MetaTrader has loaded, and as you can see, it's running a backtest in front of us. This is using the parameters specified from 2022 until today. Walking us through the backtest tab, you can see with an initial deposit of $10,000, this would generate a net profit of around $20,000. In terms of history quality, because we're using 8cap, we're getting 100% accurate tick data here, which is definitely quite solid. Back to the backtest, you can see that we do have a very high win rate here of around 82%, but keep in mind this is completely to be expected with a scalping system, simply because when we take profit, our wins are much smaller than our losers. So you need to win a lot in order just to break even. If you were to switch to a high risk reward system, these numbers would naturally inverse. So once again, that is all dependent on your inputs here. Like, what ratio do you have for stop loss to take profit? If you'd like me to go more in detail regarding that and more like randomness properties, happy to chat about that. But just wanted to show that this is one system which we have been running, which is definitely quite viable as a strategy. Perhaps now we can also look at a visual backtest, just to show you how the system would look. Let me pull up, perhaps some recent data, and let's hope MetaTrader is not too slow to load here. Oh, let me just pull this one into screen. And so as you can see, it essentially forms a box around, in this case, the London range. Zoom out a little bit. And we will see here, the box is forming. And okay, there we go. And then it places a pending order above and below. And then you can see here, the pending order was triggered, and I think it took profit, but let me see if the arrow is showing up. Okay, sometimes it doesn't show. There we go. So as you can see here, it bought and then it sold, so it simply scalped and it took profit. And that's an example of how this system would work. Here you can see the New York window also opened. I think it likely bought and sold up there as well, but MetaTrader is a bit laggy, so let's wait and see. Okay. I think you guys get the picture. You're welcome to run your own visual backtest, but effectively that's how the system works, and it uses visual aids in order to help explain the system. I think that's a good wrap up of this video. Please feel free to ask us any questions in the comments, and we hope that you find value in the system. Please download it and let us know if you have any feedback. Take care.